Hello, I'm Richard Raffan. In this video you'll see me turn this tube. You could use it as a pencil pot. It was turned out of green timber, knowing that it would warp. That was the whole idea. It's been through the microwave and just distorted a little bit, so you see me cutting these beads with a 3/8 spindle gouge. So I cut this blank yesterday and it started to split there and there. So first thing I have to do is cut those away. So now I'm back with a much shorter blank. Just eyeballing it between the two sides, roll it over 90 degrees, shift it a bit. That seems to be about right. Now this is going to be a cross grain pencil box, so the grain's running this way, which you can see there, end grain there. And so I'm going to, well, this is face work, and as usual I'm going to be roughing down with a 1/2-inch spindle gouge. It would help if the rest was tightened up. Spur drive keeps slipping. I could have put the end in a chuck, but I actually want the centre marked for a bit later, which is why I'm starting off in a chuck, in between centres. Smooth. Because this is face work, the grain running across, you don't go shooting off the end because you'll split the end grain off. So you come in from the face. And it sounds as if through some knots and things up in there, which there is. Big knot there. Just break out the end of that. It looks a bit rotten, but that means it's going to be something of a decorative feature, so I'll probably have that nearer the top than the bottom. It looks like it's going to be a hole because that's a little bit rotten and it comes through a bit of quite nice grain at the other side, and I still have quite a big flat area here to get rid of. So if you're not quite sure how far to go down, oops, so I'm on the flat area there, that is how far to go down. I can put the speed up a bit because it's a small diameter and I'm running at 1893, 1900 really. Cutting end grain on small bowls is never that easy because the end grain hasn't got as much support as it does on bigger bowls. That's coming up pretty nicely. I've still got more than I thought I would there. Still a little bit of a flat area there, which I'll get rid of now. Now this is going to be my base, and I'm just going to undercut that slightly, but I still want the tail center mark there, so I've got to work into that. And there will be people wondering why I'm not using a bowl gouge. And one of the reasons is that when I want to come across here, I can't get into that point on the cone with a bowl gouge, with the conventional sharpening anyway, but I can with a spindle gouge. Right on its side. And I'm just going to wind that in a bit further. Make sure it's slightly undercut, which it is. Right, that will... Oh, short-term memory is a terrible thing now. Still flat there, couldn't quite remember. So this will be turned a bit later, but at the moment I'm just going to get rid of the bits I don't want, the flat areas. Right, trying to keep the bevel riding as I go up the side. I'm going to turn this round and drill it out first. Spur drive comes out. And a chuck goes back on. I don't think it's going to fit that one. Nope. I hope these jaws come out far enough. They do, that's good. So it's flat on the bottom, slightly concave, so it will fit. Just sit it right back in the chuck. I can center it up with this slot. It's dead right anyway, so that's fine. Now this is going to be bored out, but before I do that I want to true up the top. So spindle gouge again. Just use the wing of the tool. The tool's rolled over on its side. If you want to have a catch, just bring the tool in flute up, and good chance of having the blank over your shoulder. Ah, that's loose. So I now need to set up the drill. I'm going to be using a 2-inch diameter drill in the new Jacob's chuck. Which gets whacked into there. Now this always looks terribly easy, but there are things which can go wrong, not least of which is if you get too many shavings built up in here, it can be very difficult to get the drill out. So I'm running at 1100. Let's see how we go there. Probably a bit too fast for it. Now when you get to this stage you do have to back it out, get rid of the shavings. How do I know this? The hard way. Too much builds up in there, you can back the whole thing off and just break the tube off because the grain is cross grain. 5 winds is going to be enough, as you can see. Any more and I'm in trouble. And you can see how easily this jams. I'm not used to doing this, which might be another factor. And so on until I get to the bottom. And I'm about to go in for the last one. Right, so that is the inside done. I'll probably paint this on the inside, which is what I often do with these tubes, but I will sand it a bit. It doesn't need much, it's a very nice clean cut with the drill. And with my sanding stick, that goes into the slot and the half dowel, and then that rolls over. Really only needs a good sanding, I suppose, where a finger can reach down. Still, this is 180. Now this gets turned round. My apologies, I thought you could see this, but I'm making a jam chuck to fit the tube over. And that's running very slightly out, which doesn't worry me too much because I'm going to true up the whole of the outside, and then I'm going to put some decoration on it. I'm going down this with a 1/2 inch spindle gouge again. I'm going to drop the rest slightly, so I'm still cutting probably 1/2 inch above center, but the main thing is that I'm comfortable doing it. So pushing the tool onto the rest and just letting the bevel ride against the wood. I've still got teeth marks. There are 2 ways of getting rid of teeth marks. One is to cut the whole lot away, and the other is to mark where they are and then put V-grooves on them. And that way you maintain the diameter you wanted, the full diameter. You have a few decorations at the bottom. Right, so my teeth marks are almost gone. Now this is going to distort quite a bit, this tube. I don't think I really want it necessarily dead straight. I don't mind it looking a bit lumpy. It just seems to give it a bit more energy as an object. 3/8 spindle gouge, long bevel. So it starts on its side, into the wood, along the rest a little bit, drop the handle, roll it very slightly clockwise, keep it at that angle, back onto its side, then along the rest again. Got to move because I didn't have my feet quite wide enough to start. Transfer your weight off the right foot onto the left. If you were left-handed, you would be doing this from the other end, other direction. To do something with this top. Just going to bring it back in a little bit. So from the top of the bead it flares out. Right, some of those aren't really beady shaped, but I think it's probably better to leave it like that and just let it then do its thing and warp. That I think is going to come out, but we'll know once it's been in the oven for a bit. Now finishing these off at the end. This is likely to warp quite a bit, so I'm going to undercut this so that I can then flatten it, sand it if I as I need be, and don't have to cope with and get the thing dead flat. You just get it flat on the rim. Well, I've even got the option of putting it on 3 little legs. Oh, I should sand this, I suppose. 180. If I was going to verdigris this, give it the verdigris or rust treatment, I wouldn't be sanding. In fact, the grain is quite interesting on this, but if it wasn't, then I wouldn't be sanding. I'd just be leaving the surface as a key for any kind of faux finish which went on. .240. You really need the smooth bit, top and bottom done. You don't want to distort the beads too much. As I cut this off, the grain is running across, therefore I can get most of the way down, give it a little push as I turn the lathe off, and that will just shear the grain. easy enough to clean up with a chisel with a little sander. So this now goes into the microwave for give it a couple I'll give it a couple of minutes and hang around whilst it's cooking, in case I hear noises, as I did with the little bowl yesterday.